Hello and welcome. Today's project, this is a big one. Do you feel like you're going crazy and do you feel alone with anxiety? The first thing I want to touch upon is that when you're in anxiety mode, the amygdala, your fear response, it takes over all other brain processes. It's like some sort of deity within you that has taken over you and you can't seem to control or contend with it. That's why when you have a panic attack, it seems like you can't think your way out of a panic attack. It takes over, and it's supposed to, right? It's designed that way. It's evolved. That's the best word. It's evolved that way. It's part of our ancient brain structure. So let's dive into why you might feel like you're alone with anxiety. The first thing is anxiety sufferers, they're in this unknown space, right? Everything seems the same. Their home, their surroundings, their job, but not really. They've fallen into the unknown. And a lot of the time, most of the time, people who go to psychotherapy, they're not going because they have a mental illness. It's because everything around them has gotten so beyond them, they can't grapple with it, right? There are too many obstacles, unresolved situations surrounding them, and that's why they feel like they're in the unknown. Their whole map of the world is foggy, right? They're in this underworld. They don't even know where they are, who they are anymore. But also, it's like they're off the grid, right? And, well, looking back on my anxiety disorder, well, how I got off the grid, I can see that I was engaging in habits that I knew to be wrong, but I couldn't stop doing them. Sexual behavior, right? Watching a lot of pornography, going out with toxic friends and staying out late all the time, ignoring any responsibility. And so by doing all of these things, I was facilitating my anxiety because well, first of all, I was ignoring responsibility, so I knew that was gnawing on me for a long time. But also, I was living an unfulfilled life, and all of the behaviors I was doing regularly were causing negative effects, and those negative effects snowballed into more and more anxiety to the point where I would do something like lie and cheat on somebody. And then that would shock me because I thought I was a good person, but then the dragon of chaos comes up. I do something that I never thought I would do, and it shocks me, and it snowballs my anxiety so much more. So then, now that I'm in the underworld, because I discovered a part of myself that I didn't know existed, it shocked me. That facilitated more and more anxiety. But here's the thing, is that when I was in the unknown, it wasn't the fact that it was the thing that, I was contending with. I thought I had kidney disease, and then I thought I had a UTI, and I was obsessing over my health. But it's not necessarily the UTI, right? But the thought of it, my body was screaming out to me that my health was not good, that something in your life is not good. There are too many things to resolve and sacrifice, right? I had to make the right sacrifices in order to move forward in my life and to resolve this anxiety. So to go back a step in my history with anxiety, here's the thing, is that I was relying too heavily on the people around me because I was living in a safe bubble. Here's the thing with when you live in a safe bubble, when you grow up with very overly protective parents, when you feel overly protected with your partner, you live in this conservative space, and then the dragon of chaos comes in, you do something that you never thought you did, like in my case, right, cheating and lying. Also, if someone else does something to you, they cheat on you, they betray you in some way, or you witness some sort of catastrophe. Say someone gets ill, an accident happens, life throws those curveballs your way. That's the dragon of chaos coming in. That's the unknown presenting itself to you. You're skating on this rink and the ice breaks and you fall within the ice. That's the descent into the underworld. That's where you fall into the belly of the whale. What happens when you're there? You're in the total unknown. Now, how does Jonah get out of the whale? Well, this is what's so cool about that story. He actually picks his life apart with a fine-tooth comb and unravels all of the situations and circumstances that brought him to that situation. And that's what anxiety sufferers need to do. They need to unravel the thread that led them into extreme anxiety. And that can take some time, because if you think about it, when you pull up the rug, there could be 10, 20, 100 snakes in there that you haven't resolved or contended with. And that was the case with me. There were a lot of habits that I needed to sacrifice. There were a lot of traumatic memories from my past that I needed to resolve. I needed to change my overall behavior and mindset. Now think about that. You have to start from square one in order to, well, get out of the unknown. And yes, that's true. Think of a video game character, right? What happens when you start the video game? Most of the map is grayed out. It's like, what happens when you start the game? You're overly stimulated. There's so much to explore and do. It's like, yeah, of course. That's the first level of the game. But you have to step out into the grayed out area one step at a time and explore this whole new way of being. And that's what you need to do if you want to change. If you want to seriously change who you are, you have to step out of your conservative space that you've inhabited up to this point. That is really important. So, when the underworld presents itself, right, you become more conscious. You become conscious of your actions, your past history. You become more conscious of your surroundings, and that throws people into the unknown, right? Well, that's what the unknown does to you. That's what the snake in the garden does to you, right? That's what being rejected by the person that you admire does to you. You become so self-conscious, and that's, you realize your vulnerabilities, right? You could die. You need to change, you need to lose a few pounds, you need to do this, you need to apply to this job, you need to leave your current job. It's like, oh my God, that's a lot of things, right? Being self-conscious, yeah, it's painful, but that's where growth happens, right? You need to open up your eyes to the situation and admit and accept the fact that things need to change right now, or you need to start walking down this new pathway to recovery. So to be in anxiety is to be in fear response mode. So when you are pulled into the underworld, what happens? What does a prey animal do? Freezes and retreats, right? That's what I did, right? Especially when I had panic attacks every day. Freeze, and then you get out of there. But then, because I shrunk my world down so small by retreating all the time, now my own home was an unknown place, right? I was anxious in my bed. And I would wake up and be like, what is happening? This is not even the same house I even know anymore. And that's true. You see that in the hero myth. The hero always returns home, and the home is just not the same anymore. The father has left, right? It's in disarray. And that's the symbolism behind that is so important that, you can't go back to the same unconscious state you used to inhabit. You're more awake now. God, what do you do with that? Well, now that you're more awake, hey man, you gotta keep going further into this. You gotta continue the journey. Right? You can't go back to unconsciousness. You gotta move forward in this awakening journey that builds on your strength, builds on your wisdom, builds on your courage, right? And that's the thing about overcoming anxiety, is that when you're in the unknown, you have to explore in order to reduce anxiety. So how do you explore? The first thing is, what are the dragons around you or within you that you're refusing to acknowledge, right? That's the first question. The second question, what happened back there? Right? What does that mean? Well, what happened back there that made me cheat or lie? Or what happened back there that resulted in that breakup or that trauma? What happened in my past? How did I get to this point? Well, that's a really difficult question, but when you start to walk down that path, man, all of these things are going to emerge. They are going to shock you, but then heal you at the same time. But then another question, or two questions, is that how can I resolve this? And then how can I move on? How can I resolve this and how can I move on? That's what I learned in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. That's what I learned. To heal is to explore the areas that you do not want to explore. And then learn the lessons so that your unconscious mind doesn't have to hold on to the pain and the trauma anymore. And then you don't have to, it won't bother you. It won't manifest itself in your life every day as a memory anymore. It's gone. It's like a space opens up within you, and that's huge. So to overcome anxiety, this is where I want to leave you in today's video. To overcome anxiety, you have to build on your competency. You have to show yourself that you can do more than you thought you could do. And that's really important. I'm going to leave a link below to the desensitization process to overcome anxiety. So I recommend that you watch that video. It's really important for your recovery and your healing process. Just to heal and get over this anxiety, this severe anxiety. And lastly, rise above anxiety. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Make sure to leave your comments below, subscribe so that you'll be the first to know whenever I release a new video, and rise above anxiety. I'll see you next time.